already? All right. Really good win by our team. That's a quality opponent, a Big Ten team who has some really good players and good coaching staff, and I thought our guys really handled situational football well today for a game one. I talked a lot this week to them about most game ones aren't won, they're actually lost by some team maybe kind of giving it away. And what we didn't do was beat ourselves today. We played clean football, +5 in the turnover margin, outrushed them significantly. Situationally did some really good things. I thought we maybe missed some throw game stuff offensively. Not saying it was all in Jake. Some of it was just like timing, rhythm, maybe touch, location, route depth, some things. I thought there was 5 or 6 pass plays we're going to look back on and wish we had back and probably could have made the game a little bit more decisive earlier. But proud of our guys, man, for this to be we wore the green helmets today for the 20th anniversary of Katrina. I'm going to say one thing. I'm not trying to take a shot, but we requested to wear white jerseys because that's what that team wore. It got denied by the other team. That's their prerogative. But when you show disrespect to the city of New Orleans, that's what's going to happen to you. You're going to run into a team like this. They had a chip on their shoulder because I wanted them to wear the same exact uniform that team wore 20 years ago. Request got denied. We might have used that for a little bit of motivation to represent the city. So don't disrespect New Orleans ever. With that, open up to questions.
You mentioned how much that was a motivating factor. I'm imagining that you didn't have to say many words to try to get this team fired up, not only because it was game one, but also because of, like you said, that disrespect.
Well, look, this city's gone through a lot, and there's unbelievable spirit here, and the culture of this place is unlike anywhere else in the world. And the resilience, the toughness, the grit, the perseverance that the people of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana went through 20 years ago, and to be back to where we are today. And, it's fitting. Like, I don't know, I think the score today was the same score in the game back versus the Falcons, right? Yeah, like kind of cool. And we talked this week about playing for the city. Like, it's the 20th anniversary. I showed them videos Thursday, videos Friday. I wanted them to have a real appreciation for what this place has been through. Tulane went through a lot. Then the guys on that team, Michael Parrington is with the Saints, came and talked to our team this summer. Him and Kellen came over and spent a little time with us. And Michael talked about his experience to our team this summer about, they went to, I think, Shreveport and then Dallas and then back to Shreveport or wherever, and they played the first game against Mississippi State in Shreveport. And they wore all white with green helmets with no decal. So we wore green helmets with no decal. We didn't get to wear all white today because the other school didn't want us to. They got to wear all white and they took the loss. So they want to do it that way, they can do it that way. But just, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I got a lot of pride in this place and love this place, love the city, and don't disrespect the city.
It's no surprise that your defense then set the tone, forcing the fumble on the very first play and obviously causing the 5 turnovers, 4 of those interceptions. Can you just talk about how opportunistic your defense was?
Yeah, I thought when the ball was in the air, our guys played it like it was theirs. Javion White, both of his were special plays. Joker, Kevin Adams had a huge one. The first play of the game, we got the sack, forced fumble. They didn't get the recovery. We felt like if we could get them off schedule in the predictable pass, we could affect them with our rushers. I was a little bit worried about if they stayed on schedule. When they were better on offense against us today, it was because they were on schedule. And they're big. I mean, they're up front. They're 6'7". There's 3 of their no linemen starters. They were big men. And so they leaned on us a little bit, and they stayed on schedule. It was problematic for us. When we could win on first down, create second and third long situations and things that became more obvious pass, that was going to be advantageous for us. And so it did a lot today. We got the tables turned the right direction, and we were able to kind of pin our ears back up front, affect the passer. That quarterback's a really good player. I got a lot of respect for him. We tried to recruit him here. He's got talent. He can make all the throws. But I thought our guys up front really competed at a high level. The depth of that D-line room, rotating so many guys in the game. And then the back end, I thought we really did a good job of tracking the ball, playing the ball. I even thought one of the DPIs was questionable. I thought we were trying to play the ball. But one of them was accurate. But there was one on their sideline. I thought we were in a good position. But those turnovers, I told our team I wanted our keys to victory. Number 1 was be +2 in the turnover margin. Number 2 was win the explosive play battle, and the third one was play clean and play physical. And when you go +5, you should win decisively.
let's talk about your quarterback. I mean, for Jake Resloff to be here five weeks now in total, I mean, for him to have the performance he had, what does that say about him and what he brings to this team? It's
amazing. Corey Glore just told me it was 38 days. It's how long he's been here. I didn't know it was 38 days, but Corey just told me that. For him to operate and do some things he did was really, really it's rare to be able to hop in, and we're blessed. I feel like we have two starters right now. Brendan's in a good position. Like, Brendan was ahead in training camp for the job until he tweaked his ankle. So, I love both those guys, and there's a reason why we put Brendan in at the end to take the knee, because I wanted him to – that was his old team, and so – but Jake did a really good job. I thought the quarterback draw that Coach Craddock called right before the half on the long run, I thought that was a game-changing play. They vacated the box with their linebackers playing light in the box, and very impressive run by him. He's got enough game experience that he doesn't get rattled. I think he'll tell you he probably could have made a couple throws cleaner today. He'll clean that stuff up. But, man, big-time performance for a guy who's been here for a whopping 38 days for sure.
You've said Retzlaff was a good athlete, but did you know he was that good an athlete? Because he only needed one block on that 69-yard.
Yeah, he got one kind of fly-by block, scrape Pate type block that helped him finish the run. I knew he was a good athlete, yeah. I recruited him. I watched him play in junior college. I tried to get him to come to Troy, and he went to BYU. So I've seen him run. I didn't know he could run maybe quite like that last year. But he's a good runner. He's probably an understated athlete. He's got real athletic ability.
Did the defense – you guys have been talking about how good your defense could be from basically spring until now. Is this kind of what you were hoping you would get to see in the opener?
Yeah, I thought it was solid. Holding them to 76 rushing yards is good. Where I felt better about the defense early this year compared to last year is – a year ago, we had 5 guys start game 1 that showed up in May, right? Today, everybody that started has been here since January. Well, they've had time on task, and they've got a lot of reps in our system, and they've gone through spring practice. And last year, I felt like defensively we were trying to duct tape it together early on and just figure out how to plug holes. I think we're a little cleaner right now. I think we got a little bit more awareness, cohesion. We've been together longer as a group. There's still some things we better get better at real fast. That wasn't like a flawless performance.
I'd say 3 of the 4 interceptions were really good catches. They may not have been good throws, but they were plays that a lot of teams don't make. How big of a difference does that?
It's huge. When you're in the back end, you can make plays on the ball like we made today. I think, Javion had a great one. Kevin Adams was an unbelievable one. It's a difference maker when you can go get takeaways like that maybe are not simple, easy ones. They talk all the time, catch the ones they throw you. Some of them weren't thrown to us. They were kind of maybe hard catches for our guys to make, but they went out and made a play.
You talked about the potential material used to make it kind of a little bit of emotion in the performance, and I think we saw that on the field. What do you do to make sure that the high doesn't get so high, to make sure you can still look forward to next week at South Alabama and there's no
It's a great question, man. There's a 24-hour rule in our game. I'll enjoy this tonight. Our players will enjoy it tonight. Tomorrow, I'll wake up, I'll go to church, and I'll leave church, and I'll come into the office. And once I walk in the office and we talk about the game as a staff, the game's over. And it's the next one. You got till Sunday, basically mid-afternoon, to enjoy it, work through it, evaluate what went right or what went wrong, and whether you win or lose. Sunday at about 3 or 4 o'clock, it's all right, flip the script and go to the next one. And so, the challenge is we got young guys in our locker room where everybody's going to pat them on the back and tell them how good they are right now. And we've got to make sure they understand that, every 7 days in our world, you can either be promoted or exposed. And the only way you get promoted is by really working your tail off to be prepared to play at a high level every time you take the field. And so we'll be fine. I have a pretty good talent of humbling them real quick when things – we'll show them the tape of where we weren't good too. So but we did use some of the emotional components because there's a lot of emotion about the 20th anniversary, and we wanted to show respect to that team and the people in New Orleans.
How's it going, Coach? I kind of had a question about – I know you mentioned Brendan's role in fall camp and how he had the starting position. Just given Jake's performance today. He did really well. What do you see Brennan's role moving forward with the program?
Yeah, that's a good question. Almost like you've been in a locker room before or something. So everything is week to week, right? And so like we go through, we'll evaluate this game tomorrow as a staff. We'll watch the tape in all 3 phases, and then we'll figure out what's the best game plan to win next week's game. Doesn't always look the same. It may not. I don't know yet. And a lot of it is Brendan's availability. Brendan practiced. He was limited Tuesday, tried a little bit more Wednesday. He ramped up as the week went, but we just didn't feel like he was maybe in the best spot to put himself out there. The plan, if he had been fully healthy, would have probably been play both. And I'm not saying it would have been the quarterback shuffle the whole game, but we would have played both. That was sort of the plan if both were available. If Brennan's back, I think you're probably going to see us playing 2 guys some. I think we like I said, I think we have 2 legitimate Division I starters on our roster right now. And I really think even Caden Samanza and Donovan Leary, if they go in the game, I think we can win games with those guys. We got 4 guys at quarterback right now that I think we can win football games with. The top two are obviously Brendan and Jake, and we'll look at tomorrow afternoon. We'll kind of look at maybe how we turn the page and then what's Brendan's availability.
I also had a question. Do you think there was a little bit of a deeper meaning between putting Brennan out there, especially given his history with Northwestern, or what was kind of the thought behind it?
There was a deeper meaning. We call it what it is. That's where he played. His degree that he got from college says Northwestern on it. And, last year he had the opportunity to start for Iowa and when they played Northwestern, and it meant he wanted to play this game extremely badly. Like he was ready to go put on the line, because I think when he was at Northwestern, he got kind of told he wasn't good enough to play there. And so I wanted to – I talked about it last night with our offensive staff. I just said, look, if we get in a position to get in a victory formation, Brendan's taking that snap, regardless of how the rest of the game goes.
John, you mentioned the short tenure, 38 days with Jake. Yeah. Did that impact the game plan? Did you all have a streamlined game plan for him? Or, tell me about that.
Not terribly. I mean, I think, when you get – Jeff, when you get into game plan mode, you're already paring down. Like you go through the week, honestly, you put it all on the board, and then you try to figure out what doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Like you test it and you practice it. And it's like, all right, what do we like? And you try to peel things off that you don't like. Game plan work is actually, for a quarterback, it's an easier week than it is just all the installs, because you go through the normal week and it's like of a training camp week. Mm-hmm. And you know what you do the first day, you install. You know what you do the second day, you install. And the third day, you install. And the fourth day, you install. And by the time you get to day 10, these quarterbacks, there's a ton to think about. And in a scrimmage setting, like if Coach Craddock wants to call any of a couple hundred plays, it could be live. Where you go into a game like today, the menu's narrowed no matter who the quarterback is, based upon what we feel good about and what we've repped and what we're clean at and what our personnel does well. And so I wouldn't say it was pared down really. It was probably maybe larger than what game one was last year, to be honest with you. So we did as a pretty full complement of offensive scheme in regards to what we did.
And the jersey request, when was that made? And also, did you tell your team about it?
It was made about a week and a half ago. I thought about it this summer. We already made our decision to wear green helmets with no decal. And I said, you know what, why don't I just do the whole uniform? Like, why not just – because I looked it up. Tulane played Mississippi State in Shreveport. It was September the 13th, I think, 2005. And they wore green helmets, no decal, white jersey, white pants, home game in Shreveport against Mississippi State. And I thought, let's not just do the helmet, let's do the whole uniform. But we have to get that approved. And that got denied for whatever reason. I don't know, not my decision. And by the other team. And when it did, I did let our team know, hey, here's why we're going to wear these helmets. Here was my desire, was to wear white jerseys on white pants to match the exact uniform that team that had to evacuate wore. It got denied. To me, that's a little disrespectful. Use that motivation if you want to, or don't. But I felt a little bit disrespected for, that's a pretty significant event to maybe not honor.
When it was still a one-score game, you went for it on 4th and 8 or 4th and 8.
It's 4th and 8, yeah.
And you talked about that decision, and also the make it climb the holding penalty that would have made you have to make a play
There were several surprising things right there in that flow of the game. The 4th and 8's a tough call because they're kind of in no man's land. It's like, all right, I don't want to punt from the 39-yard line. That sucks. All right, and then I don't want to go for it really because we don't get it and they get the ball there too. And I'm like, and we can't kick a field goal. And so what we did is we got into a formation. We wanted to see the coverage. If we identified the coverage as zone coverage, we were going to run the play. If we did not identify if we identified it as man coverage, we were going to take it to delay and punt the ball. And it presented as zone coverage. And I said to Coach Craig, I said, let it rip, let's go. And CJ caught the ball and we got the first down. And I was really hopeful we could go punch it in. We then had we got knocked back on, I think, a holding call and just stuff. But, yeah, there was an interesting flow there that kind of, it was what it was. But the 4th down call, we wanted to take a look at it, make a decision off the look. If we didn't like the look, we would have taken the delay and then punted. But since they gave us the look we liked, we ran it.
Coach, you guys were able to find success offensively, particularly in different areas of the field, running the ball in the middle, the short pass game. Just assess you guys' ability to be successful offensively in different areas.
Yeah, I think we've got really diverse skill set in regards to personnel at running back and receiver. I don't know that this receiver room has a Mario Williams like last year that's going to go for 1,000 yards. Mario had a dynamic year. I don't know that we have one guy that's going to put up those numbers. I do think what this receiver room has is about 8 guys we can put in the game and feel like, hey, that guy can go play and play competitive winning football maybe. Same thing at running back. Like, obviously, Maurice Turner's kind of been the featured back, if you will, but like Duda did some really good things. Javen Gordon got in the game, the youngster, the freshman from Georgia, and he pounded the rock, man. Like he played with some physicality. Zuberi did some good things. So when you can play 4 backs and you can play 7, 8 receivers, and they all have maybe diverse skill sets that add a different wrinkle, there's a lot of different things at your discretion to use. And we got guys that will go make plays. I brought up CJ, Zy Carl Lewis. We call him CJ around here because he's a junior, but he that catch he had on that 4th down, like he's kind of one of those guys that's steady, been coming on, and it's fun to see some of those young guys like him and Javen Gordon, 2 freshmen, go out and make plays in the game like that today in big moments. Really cool. Yeah, Mamahat, tough deal, man. Mamahat on Tuesday practiced fully. Wednesday, he wasn't quite right. He had a little bit of like what we think is a deep thigh bruise. There was a little bit of a swelling on there. They went and imaged it and trying to break it up. Just didn't feel like it was in his best interest to play. I watched him kind of move around Thursday, and it didn't look great. And so heartbroken for him because he's given this team so much. That was a late in the week deal. That really happened Friday. Like the final decision did not play him. Thursday, I would say, was questionable. Friday is when it kind of solidified to like, oh, he's probably out. And we'll see next week. They're going to work really hard to try to get him available, but we'll see. There's about 3 or 4, maybe 5 guys really that didn't play today. Him, Brendan didn't really play, and John Bach, Mitch Hodnett. There's a few guys that would be nice to get back that I think we're close to getting back, but we got to see how it goes in the next few days with their treatment and rehab stuff.
Last one. If there is one. Yeah. With the QB Retzlaff being newer to the team, is there an unraveling of the playbook that has to take place, or would you say that as of right now, play calling's not open?
Yeah, I think it was a normal game plan. I mean, we carried the amount we usually carry roughly. And so every game plan looks a little different, but the amount was a normal load. It wasn't like we ran some scale-back version of what we do. There's certain things that maybe Jake does better than another guy that we want to lean into when he's in the game, and offensively maybe matched up against what they did defensively. There's certain things you like and maybe some things you don't like. But the amount, there was no like, hey, we really gave him the watered-down version of the book. We just tailored the plan this week to what we thought would put him in the best position to be successful and allow him to kind of execute and lead the offense today.
Thank you.
Got it? Thank you all. Appreciate you.